Hello guys, and we're here today with another very interesting deck profile. We're here today with some Odd Eyes, Performapal, Draco Slayer. This deck is honestly pretty strong, pretty great this format. It has a lot of just plays. Pendulum Coil and Sky Iris being able to protect your pendulums, really nice, prevent Twin Twister plays. Of course, just a variety of different stuff that this deck can do. I do want to point out that the duels that you'll see tomorrow with this deck, you'll see that a lot of them are against the same player that's playing with the same deck. But he was playing a really good deck, playing a really strong deck. He was playing Light Sword Dolls, and I feel really showed that this deck is strong against rogue decks, because it's Pepe, it's Draco Slayers. This deck, you already know that it can compete against meta, so this deck is also pretty strong against some more rogue decks, and it also showed off a lot of good plays because he would put me in some really tough positions where I had to use stuff like a 6-8 scale, and to think that a 6-8 scale where you can only summon level 7s is actually pretty good is surprising. So let me just go right in. For the magicians, we have 2 Dragon Pit, 2 Dragon Pulse, and then is this the last guy? Yes, Wisdom Eye. That is it for our magicians. It's a pretty strong engine, of course. You can easily get to your Dragon Pits and stuff, and Wisdom Eye being a level 4 helps out when we need to make level 4s. And these guys being able to pop stuff like that can come into so many uses. It's like if you're facing like a Clearford deck or a heavy back row deck, it's just like, alright, I get an extra pop, I may have to ditch a monster, and of course you're going to want to end up ditching like either an Odd Eyes or another Magician so you can get it back with Oath Dragon. But it's nonetheless pretty strong anyways. And then for our Draco Slayers, we're running 2 Master Pendulum and then just Luster Pendulum, and that's it. We're not running Draco Face Off, we're not running any of the Draco Overlords, just those guys. I do like these guys because being able to destroy the card in a Pendulum Zone is actually pretty decent. Just being able to get rid of something if you have a scale that you don't want, just being able to get rid of it, and then being able to use Sky Iris to get rid of this. Now you have 3 scales. And then for the Performapals, we have the 1-1 keyboard, 2 Guyu Turtles for a draw, and then 3 Performapal Odd Eyes Unicorn, which is an 8 scale, which is really nice. And then Performapal Light Phoenix, which is a 3 scale. So Sky Iris can get us. These guys are Odd Eyes monsters, so they can be searched out with Sky Iris. They can be used to make Vortex Dragon, which is amazing. So just being able to have these guys have access to a low scale and a high scale with this card is really nice. This is like a card you really want to see. If you want to put Terraforming up to 2, go ahead. And then the last Performapal we have is Wizard. Not only does he search out these 2 guys, but of course he'll also get us our Guyu Turtle, Joker, I don't think I mentioned Joker, and Monkey Board as well if you haven't seen him. And of course Monkey card is a 1-card scale, so that's always good. And then besides that, we have the Odd Eyes, 2 Odd Eyes. He's definitely really strong in this deck. Being able to inflict double damage, even if you keep him out, is always great. And being level 7, you can use him to make Absolute or just make like Big Eye. So he's good, he's strong. And then besides that, to round up the monsters, we have Triple Maxi. You want to draw, you want to do stuff, and so if your opponent does go and make a huge field, this card's going to be there, and you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff. And if they don't kill you, you're going to be able to go through it pretty easily. If they do kill you, well then you're screwed. And if they don't make a field, well then you should be able to do very well because your opponent doesn't have a field. So that is it for the monsters. Again, it's a pretty strong deck. It has a lot of different scales. Like there's no scale that's like, oh, you can only spell some of these monsters, or you have to have another type, same archetype in the other scale. No, you can have Master Pendulum and Dragon Pit or Odd Eyes Unicorn in the same scale, and it's just like depends on what else you have. If you get the Luster Pendulum, or if you get like Wisdom Eye and something else, like another Magician, you're good there. Or even if you have like this guy and Guyu Turtle, that's a 1/6 scale. You're gonna be able to special summon your level 4s, which means you're gonna be able to go out and make plays. So there's a lot of strong stuff here. So besides that, we're running 1 Instant Fusion. Honestly, if I had the room, I'd play this at 3. I'm so waiting for Pot of Cupidity to come out, just so I can run 50 card decks. Just, oh my god, it's gonna be so beautiful. Triple Pot of Cupidity and everything. 50 card decks. That's like a rule that's so stern with Yu-Gi-Oh players, is don't run more than 40 cards. Well, no, Pot of Cupidity is a thing. Just can't wait for that card. Once that comes out, running 3 Instant Fusion and only one Norden because I don't want to banish my one instant fusion, and I definitely want to see it. And of course, if you do run more than one instant fusion and you've already used it, it's a great target for Twin Twister, because Twin Twister doesn't have good targets except for your magicians that you can add back with Oath Dragon. Pendulum Call, you have to discard a card, but it replaces itself and the card you discard with a scale. Like it's a scale that doesn't go away and your opponent can't get rid of until your next turn, so it's just really strong. Just being able to have that card, being able to get to your Oath Dragon, so if you do already have a scale, like if you have Dragon Pulse and Dragon Pit, or like Dragon Pit and I don't know, Odd Eyes Light Phoenix, which is a 3/8 skill, that's all you need. You could go out and then search like either Wisdom Eye, or you could search Dragon Pulse and then Oath Dragon and then maybe add it back. So there's a lot of definite combos. It really depends on how you open up with. Like how you open up depends. Alright, do I want to go with a Draco Slayer route? Do I want to go with a Performapal route? Do I want to go with an Odd Eyes route? Can I kind of combine them? Like, you don't think these engines really work, but I mean, if you have a Performapal card or a Magician card, you can use Wisdom Eye. It's just so surprising how well this deck works. Terraforming to get us a Sky Iris, 2 Twin Twist to get rid of back row, Sky Iris, pop a card, add an Odd Eyes card, including the Odd Eyes Fusion, and it's just really nice just being able to protect your Magicians, your Odd Eyes, and your Performapals. They cannot be targeted on the Pendulum Zone. Your Draco Slayers, they can be targeted, so if you activate a Draco Slayer as a scale, they can Wind Twister it, but if you activate any other Pendulum monster, your opponent can't target it unless they can get rid of Sky Iris beforehand. And then Odd Eyes Fusion for the last spell card is definitely really strong. Vortex Dragon is really great, especially late game, because if you get to put back a Joker or Monk Keyboard, that's just amazing. That's such a strong play. And so it's really just a double negative for your opponent, because not only did they have a card negated, you just got a card back that is at 1. You just got a card that's at 1 back, and so it's definitely very nice to have this guy, and it's great to open up with, because if you're going second like this deck wants to, and your opponent does get out 2 monsters, and you have the Sky Iris, this is a great way to bait out stuff. Like if your opponent has Warning, or if you're facing a back row heavy deck, it's like, alright, I'm activating Odd Eyes Fusion, I'm gonna get out a monster that negates anything that isn't spell speed 3. So, and of course, because you use Sky Iris, you have a card in your extra deck. Now, what you want to use to fusion summon with him is Odd Eyes Rebellion and Meteor Burst Dragon. You cannot summon this guy except through Absolute Dragon's effect. That's the only other way you could summon these guys. You can use Odd Eyes Light Phoenix. You can use Performapal Odd Eyes Unicorn, and any other Pendulum you want as well, because all Vortex Dragon requires is an Odd Eyes monster, including these guys. So just things to note about. If you want to put them at 2 and put up these guys, it's just took up too much room in the extra deck. If you want, just quick for the extra deck, if you want to make more room, I'd suggest taking off Draco Sack. Like Big Eye I'd keep, because I mean, stealing a monster is stealing a monster. But take out Draco Sack if you really didn't want him. But honestly, the card that this deck really needs is Darkester Emerald, because there's a lot of extra deck monsters that once you lose, such as Ignister, you want him back. So, or like Utopia the Lightning, looking at you, Cosmos, you definitely want that back. And then for the traps, we're running the 4 Solemns, pretty standard. And that is it for this deck. Again, it's surprisingly how well it is. Like, you guys will see in the duels, yes, it's against the same person, playing against the same deck, but I do a lot of different combos. He does put me in different positions, and I'm able to make some pretty strong field. Like, this deck has enough level 4s where it can make a decent amount of rank 4s, and also, of course, make your Ignister, and it also has some other monsters, like this guy's 5, so if you wanted to put in a level 5, like Volcasaurus, I think is rank 5, and there's just a variety of different stuff that you can do with this deck. Like, it's just so nice, and the consistency works out. I mean, just Sky Iris, pop a card, and then activate this and activate Odd Eyes Light Phoenix. You now can spell some level 4s, and you just drew a card. And then you can get out a Wizard if you have Wizard. Or there's just a lot of different combos. You'd be surprised with how well this archetype or these archetypes work together. But then again, they were meant to work together. I mean, Magicians are supposed to work with Odd Eyes, and Odd Eyes is supposed to work with pretty much everything, because he switches out anything with 1500 or less attack, but specifically Performapals. And then Draco Slayers are just good. They're just good. Just, oh, you have Odd Eyes Light Phoenix? Alright. Or Light Phoenix. This guy. I'll just pop him and get you a second one for free. He's amazing. This destroy one card to add to the same copy of his cards is so good. So that is it for the deck profile. This deck is definitely really great. And honestly, Performapals in general, like the next deck you guys are gonna see is it's gonna be Pepe, and I'm surprised with how well Pepe has done, despite the fact that Pepe got destroyed. And it just shows how well the Performapal, the Draco Slayer, the Magician engine is, how strong it is, and how versatile it is, how many different things you can put in the deck. Like, there's just so many XZ monsters that if they came back, the Performapal engine would be tier 1. The engine. Not necessarily the deck. There'd be a lot of different variants, but this would be the best deck, because it'd be the deck that can make, like, Shockmaster the best. Like, I mean, there's just so many crazy stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profiles. Don't forget to stay tuned for some duels and, of course, some more Performapal deck profiles on Thursday. See you guys later. Bye.